Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So there's one claim that Terrence Howard's been making, which is really weird, about sperm count and about, the future of our species. He seems to think we're facing like an extinction level event.
Because we are about to die right now. So that's an extinction event that's happening less than 30 years from now.
He recently went on this podcast called the Demystify Sci podcast, and he made some really interesting claims about sperm. I don't really know the history of the Demystify Sci podcast. It is run by two people that have doctorates. I don't know exactly what the deal is with them. They do a lot of kind of like esoteric, somewhat science-related videos. I believe they both have doctorates in some field of biology. And for some reason, they wanted to suffer Terrence Howard. Suffer meaning, listen to. But the word suffer is a good description of what happens when you listen to Terrence Howard. Let's check him out.
We have to deal with the phthalates and the plastics in our body. That's why science is important, because in 1970, there was a healthy ejaculation had anywhere from 250 to 500 million sperm in it. They did the same test in 2020. A healthy ejaculation had 10 to 15 million sperm in it. So that's a 2.64% drop per year. So you follow that up to that chart out. By 2045, there will not be a male left on the planet of any species able to produce sperm.
So what this is really a problem in is what we call exponential growth and decay. So I literally pulled these notes directly from 10th grade algebra. Not from when I was a student, but when I taught 10th grade algebra. And I've been a math teacher for a number of years. And it's really exponential decay. And what we're doing is studying something that's decreasing at a... Wow, these notes are incorrect. This should say decrease right here. Let's go ahead and fix that. Percent decrease. What he's saying is that sperm counts are decreasing by a certain percentage every year. So if I can kind of break down this formula, what we do is we have our initial value, which is represented by P. I call it P usually because we call it like the principal amount. If we're talking about like finances and things, we have 1 minus R because you have 100% of that minus another percentage that is expressed as a decimal. And then raised to a certain power, which represents the amount of time units that are increasing. And we're raising it to a power because if you think about taking a percentage, what you're doing is really multiplying. And if you do it a number of times over a number of years, you're multiplying over and over again. So that's why we raise it to an exponent. So using this formula here, we can investigate some of Terrence Howard's claims. So to start off, let's go ahead and investigate his claim that he says in 1970, right, there were between a healthy ejaculation between 250, 500 million sperm. And then because that's an in-between thing, we can go ahead and just average that, or just take the very middle in-between number. And if we take 250 plus 500 divided by 2, you get 375. So really we can we'll just kind of average it out to 375 million sperm per ejaculation. Whatever that means. Because think about it, ejaculation is going to vary, right? Like, what does that exactly mean? I guess he's saying on average, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're taking an average. And then he says in 2020, they did the same study. Let me actually put units here. Sperm. And he's saying in 2020 that the healthy ejaculation had between 10 and 15 million. And again, if we take the average of that, if we go right in between, I can say approximately 12.5 million sperm. And he's claiming that that is a let me put it in their color, 2.64% decrease per year. Now, he rarely uses actual numbers because he's not really good with numbers, but he quotes numbers here, and we can actually, he even says he followed that table out. Well, that's exactly what we'll do. So first of all, let's just see if that is even a 2.64% decrease per year, because I have a feeling it's not. So let's plug these numbers in. Right, if let's use the decay formula, kind of highlight this. Guess I'll switch to green. So A is our final amount, like our ending amount if we're, basically our current amount since we're doing exponential decay. So that would be the 12.5 million. And instead of just putting million so many times, I'm just gonna use the whole number. So 12.5 is our current amount equal to the initial amount, which is represented here by P, which I usually say because it stands for principal, like the principal amount. So that would be 375. And then we're trying to solve for R. We're trying to actually find the real percentage decrease because I'm pretty sure that's not correct right here. 1 minus R. And then raised to the time power, raised to the t power. So we can find that by saying, well, between 1970 and 2020, that's 50 years, right? 50 years have gone by. And so we'll have our time units in years. And we'll say raised to the 50th power. So this is not that complicated because we have numbers here. We have one unknown, which is R, which we can solve for by doing some pretty simple math. Or again, 10th grade algebra. So we want to isolate R. Let's start by, let me go ahead and switch colors since I'm showing work. We can divide by 375 on both sides. Okay, if you do that division here, which I'm not really showing, but I would use my calculator to do that, which I did. And it came out to 0.0, looks like 3's are repeating here. I'll just kind of put 3. You can put the bar on top if you want, or some dots, but we'll go ahead and round. At that level of precision, it wouldn't make a difference. Equal to this whole thing, 1 minus R to the 50th power, right? So we have something on the right side raised to the 50th power. We have something on the left side that is just a number. What we can do to solve that now is actually take a 50th root, which it's a little strange to take a 50th root, and I don't like to do that personally. But if you extract a 50th root from this, it would actually cancel out this raised to the 50th power. So that's all well and good. Again, I would probably use if you're following along with this, probably use like a graphing calculator or some sort of scientific calculator so you can actually extract a 50th root. And you will get this number here, 0. I don't like to round too much, so let me put a lot of digits here. 934. It is going to be an irrational number because it's a 50th root. All this, 2, 1, just copying it from my calculator. Equals 1 minus R. So to find that decay rate, we would just take this and then subtract out this 1. Subtract 1, which would make it negative. And I'm getting a 0.06578 equal to negative R. And again, because they're both negative, you can divide by negative 1 on both sides to arrive at our actual decay rate given these numbers, which looks to be 6.578% decrease. So using these numbers that he provided, which we're not even really sure where he pulled those numbers out of. I'm not sure what study he's referencing. He doesn't ever use references. So he's just, his entire reference is basically like, trust me, bro. So, but we did the math. We ran the numbers like he said to do. And we get 6.578% decrease. So if you'll notice, this is not equal to this. He was off by quite a bit. He said 2.64% decrease. The real answer is that it's a 6.578% decrease. I love it when he uses numbers because then we can actually check. We can actually do math. And the videos that actually do the best on my channel are the ones where I literally just do math. Again, I have a degree in mathematics. I've been a mathematics teacher for many years, and people liked it when I would kind of take his claims and just run the numbers and completely, so he's completely off. Now, what's interesting that we can do after this, again, he made one other claim, right? He said, he referenced the year 2045. So he was like, by 2045, there won't be any, any sperm left. No male on the planet of any species. I'm not sure why it's any species and not just humans if this was a human study. Basically, there'll be no sperm left. You can probably tell that's a wild claim, really wild claim. But again, we have the formulas. We can do the math now. And just check how much, if these numbers are correct, assuming that they're correct, we can check and see, okay, what would the sperm count actually be in millions by the year 2045? And we'll see how close it is to zero. Let me go ahead and scroll down a little bit to do this. So we'll use the same formula, right? Exponential decay. The numbers we had before were 2020. If we go to 2045, that's an additional 25 years. So we can just kind of go from there. Let's still use our original starting numbers, right, from 1970. This is 25 more years. So we can use a t-value of 75. That would be the 50 years that we've calculated already, plus an additional 25 years to get us to the year 2045. So the starting value, which was 375 million, multiplied by 1 minus the decay rate, which the decay rate again was 6.578%. As a decimal, that's 0.06578. And just raise it to the 75th power. Crunching all the numbers there. Again, we're in millions. This 375 has an invisible million next to it. Crunching the numbers on that, I am getting around 2.3 million. Hey, it's good to use units, which in this case is sperm. So the ejaculation, a healthy male ejaculation, is what he's calling it, is actually going to contain, by this model, about 2.3 million sperm. That's pretty far away from zero. And let's kind of check for reasonableness here, right? Let's see if this is valid. So if it's decreasing at this constant rate, 6.578% per year, in 1970, about 375 million. In 2020, it drops to 12.5 million. But then 25 more years pass, and now we're down to 2.3 million. So the numbers are going down. 375, 12.5, 2.3. Let's just make sure that we know 2.3 million. This is not 0. Yeah, it's pretty far away from 0. I know that he doesn't understand what 0 is, but like to compare the number 0 with the number 2.3 million, he's pretty far off on that. Highlight this. So there you go. By Terry's own numbers, which again gave the wrong percentage, so we used the correct percentage. Which it's funny because it's actually decreasing at a higher percentage than he even claimed. He was saying 2.64%, and it's actually, if you do the math, it's actually 6.57%, which is more. So by his initial claim of the 2.64%, then you would actually even get a higher number than that, or you get even further away from 0. So there you go. Simple algebra, I would say 10th grade level, maybe even 9th or 8th grade for the advanced students. So we're talking about like 12-year-olds that could literally crunch the numbers and do the math and prove Terrence Howard's sperm math to be weird and completely off. And by the way, just so we're clear, that other interview I showed was not the only time he has made this claim. This interview that I'm showing on screen now is probably the craziest interview he's ever done. On this really strange channel, the Straight Talk with Daphne, that has hosted almost absolutely no other interviews. I mean, I think she did, but they have very, very few views. And he's got the wig on. He didn't even bother to get out of costume for this interview. I guess, for that fight night that he was recording. And he's got that weird wig on. It's a completely unhinged interview, and she gives absolutely no pushback.
I'll take you guys on another walk. In 1970, they did examination of the human body. Like I said, the average male produced 1,500 sperm per heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait. Now he's saying 1,500, not 15 million. And he's saying per heartbeat, not per ejaculation.
That same test in 2020, the average male produced 10 to 15 million sperm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now he's back on the millions. Okay, so he's got that sort of. I'm assuming this is the same claim that he was making in that Demystify Sci podcast.
That's a 2.64% reduction by year. Mm-hmm. So if you follow that out, by the year 2045, there will be no males left on this planet able to produce sperm. Why? Because of a thing called bisphenol, hard plastics, BPAs or BPHs, mm-hmm. or phthalates. PHTHYLATES, a nasty word. Mm-hmm. So they started putting it in polyester and all of these clothes. But as a result, what that plastic does in those fine particles does in our body sees, the carbon. Estrogen is made from carbon. Testosterone has carbon attributes to it. So
it's made of carbon. Okay, it's organic. Yes, it's carbon based. Like just everything living, if I'm not mistaken, is, you could say, made from carbon. That's a weird thing to say, made from carbon. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I mean, he definitely doesn't.
Adrenal receptors are going around throughout the body. Everything okay? Everything is okay. And if it's not okay, then the male's body produces testosterone and it fills those receptors. And if it's not okay for the woman, the female's body, her ovaries produces estrogen, and they go, and their body is now imbalanced. But because of the phthalates, what it does, it mimics the estrogen. It mimics the testosterone inside those adrenals.
It's so crazy. It's like, why are people taking his word for this? Like, he's not a doctor. He's not a researcher. Of all the people out there that I expect to know about sperm count and estrogen and testosterone, it wouldn't be Terrence Howard.
receptors. And so now the testes don't produce, and so men become effeminized. There's a guy named Dr. Tyrone that funny name, but he did a test with the
Yeah, that he never cites any sources ever. The one time he does cite a source, it's some guy named Dr. Tyrone. That's literally his words. Some guy named Dr. Tyrone. Great. Yeah. It sounds like a good source. Sounds like someone that I can believe. Don't cite any studies. Don't cite any actually medical texts. Don't cite. I know a guy named Dr. Tyrone. You know what? I know a guy named Dr. Tyrone as well. He sells cocaine on the corner.
with frogs, and the frogs became homosexual.
Oh, oh my God! He's doing the Alex Jones thing? He's referencing that whatever Alex Jones was saying. Turning the frogs gay.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
That's what he's talking about, and I don't know the exact study that's in reference to, but that's just insane.
Females become masculinized.
Oh wait, so if it's turning, it does both. It turns females more male. It turns males more female. That doesn't seem very likely. And I don't know a lot about biology of the human body and all that.
And the males become feminized. And it's something that's a terrible thing that's taking place. And that's what I like about the Honorable Minister. He's constantly been talking about maintain your man card. You don't trade that in, but take care of your body and know what you are putting in it. So stop.
Well, wait, did he just refer to him as a minister now? Is this the Dr. Tyrone guy? Like, is he got a doctorate in like religious studies or theology or something? Like, who is this person and what is this study?
Drinking plastics, because by 2045 there will be no males left on this planet, not just within the human species, the human platform.
Let's take a note. He said he didn't say there would be no male capable of producing sperm. He said there'll be no males left on this planet. He's saying by 2045, which is 25 years away, there'll be no males left on this planet. What is he talking about? And how is she just nodding along and saying, This is insanity. It's insane. And again, he's changed his claim now. In the other interview, he had said there'll be no male capable of producing sperm. Now he's saying there won't be any males at all. And I don't know why he's extrapolating to different species. This is talking about humans, right? We're the ones drinking plastics or whatever he says and consuming the wrong kind of products, whatever. But now it's like there's no males of any species. He referenced frogs, I guess, as another species. But of any species? This is completely insane.
Of life we're talking about, because the plastics are in the oceans everywhere. So no, so you're talking about an extinction level event. For
not every creature lives in the ocean or is affected by how many plastics are in the ocean.
Everything in what, less than 26 years.
Wow.
26
That's
years
long.
if we don't turn.
Wow. Yeah. She's like, oh, there's not going to be any males left on the planet by 2045. In 26 years, our entire species will be extinct. Oh, I'm sorry. Every species will be extinct. What? And she just says, wow, that's crazy. We should stop drinking plastics. Yeah, also, you're probably completely wrong about that. Anybody could tell what a ridiculous claim that is, that everyone will be extinct by the year 2045. So, there you go. That's the video. I really feel like no one's addressed this before, or no one's really brought it up, but because he's mentioned it in multiple interviews, like I'm saying, it's surprising that no one has given pushback. I mean, sometimes like the scientist people were laughing at him a little bit. I mean, they were pretty much laughing at him the whole time. But he said it on Joe Rogan, I believe, and no one gave any pushback at all. They're just like, oh, wow, yeah. Every single species will be extinct in 25 years. It's so insane. So, if you enjoyed the video, please give a like. It helps the channel out. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to check out my other playlist on my peer review of his book, that's also still available. And please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. And I'm planning to make some more content on Terrence Howard because he's far too interesting to not make content about. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.